Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars, welcome to another top 10 list. I'm working on a few top 10 lists at the minute. I do have my favourite all-time 90s movies list coming up in a week or two. I've got another couple that I'm working on, but this is one that I kind of thought up last night. And I thought, it's quite a simple one to do and film. And this one essentially is my top 10 favourite hidden gems. And the key thing here is that they're in my collection. So these that I have physically in my Blu-ray or DVD collection that I think are basically hidden gems. And what I mean by that are movies that were kind of missed by many at the cinema and even on home entertainment systems. Blu-ray, DVD, not many people saw, not many people bothered with. Certainly from my perspective anyway. However, I have them in my collection for a reason. I really enjoy them. Some of them have even made it onto my misunderstood movie reviews list, which kind of celebrates the hidden gems genre, I suppose you could say. So I want to talk about three that didn't make the list first. A couple of honourable mentions, 2 or 3 honourable mentions, and the first one is Stan and Ollie. Now this film came out a couple of years ago. Steve Coogan, John C. Reilly as Laurel and Hardy. It focuses on their later career, but it is an absolute brilliant film. I absolutely loved it. Really nicely made, brilliant performances. It didn't do anything at the cinema, and not many people talked about it afterwards. But if you really want to watch a really good film that focuses on these guys, Laurel and Hardy, you could do far worse than that, trust me. The next honourable mention I'm going to talk about is a film called Going in Style. Now this is quite a light-hearted comedy, and it's got Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine and Alan Arkin in the lead roles. And it's a really good feel-good film in these ageing guys who decide to pull off a bank heist to get back their pensions that have been stolen from them by this company they've worked for many years. It's really good. It's really fun. It is genuinely funny, and 3 brilliant performances by 3 brilliant actors. And it's just one of those films you can put on and just sit back and enjoy and chill out with. Really good. The next one is a film that I thought was really good, and again didn't get the recognition it deserved, and that is Hotel Artemis. Great cast in this film. We have Jodie Foster, Sterling K. Brown, Sophia Boutella, Jeff Goldblum, Zachary Quinto, Charlie Day and Dave Bautista. Really good cast, and this essentially it's like a crime drama with a bit of action thrown in there. This hotel that is run by Jodie Foster, she essentially is a nurse at this hotel, and it's a hotel for criminals to go and get patched up and stuff, and there's certain rules to abide by there, and as you can imagine, it all goes pretty wrong. So those are 3 honourable mention hidden gems that you should check out if you haven't watched. Now we're going to go on now to my number 10 pick, and coming in at number 10 is Deliver Us from Evil. Now Eric Bana, Edgar Ramirez. This I think is a really underrated horror film. Not many people, when you talk about possession movies, not many people talk about this one, and I think this is one of the finest. Brilliant performance by Eric Bana, who actually plays a real life police detective, and essentially there are some soldiers that come back from Afghanistan, I believe it is, somewhere like that, and they've kind of been possessed, and one of them in particular, and it's this whole intertwining story with some really creepy moments and a really intense exorcism scene at the end. Strongly recommend this if you've never seen it. I'm sure horror fans, any horror fans watching this, will have seen this. But for those of you who haven't seen it and you do like a good horror film that is really well made, you could do far worse than this one. I really enjoy this one. So coming in at number 9 on the list is another horror, and this film is called The Monster. Now this came out I think about 2017, something like that. I have reviewed this on the channel, I believe. This is not easy to get hold of. This is a German Blu-ray because I couldn't get hold of it in the UK. But this essentially is a mother and a daughter travelling cross country. They don't get on. There's a bit of a family drama going on, They break down at the side of a road in the middle of the night, and as you could imagine, gets pretty creepy, gets pretty scary, and they are stalked by some creature. Very well made. It's just a really good film with good performances, great special effects, dynamics that you believe, and very tense. There's some very frightening moments in this film. If you haven't seen The Monster, definitely check it out. It didn't get as much recognition, I don't think, as it deserved anyway. Next on the list is an action film, and this is Avengement, Scott Adkins. This is, well, you know who Scott Adkins is, I'm sure many of you. A UK based action crime drama. Scott Adkins is sent to prison for a crime he didn't commit. Well, he did, but he gets shoved in prison. He gets a hit put out on him by his brother, played by Craig Fairbrass. He spends a few years in prison. He has to harden up and become like this fighting machine, and he gets out of prison and he wants revenge on his brother and those who set him up. Brutal, violent, funny. I personally think this is Scott Adkins' best film, and I don't think this got enough recognition when it came out, which a lot of Scott Adkins films don't really get enough recognition when they come out. Some of them are actually really very good. I think this is a really super film. If you see this one on the supermarket shelves, you're looking for a good action flick, definitely pick that one up. You won't be disappointed. Next up on this list is a quirky little film, and I can understand why this one didn't do particularly well, because it's an odd one. It's called The Voices, and we have here Ryan Reynolds, Gemma Arterton and Anna Kendrick. Ryan Reynolds basically plays a serial killer who has conversations with his pets and kills people that he's actually very fond of. It's really good, and it's got a message underneath it all. It says a lot about mental health as well, but it's very funny at times. It's a bit like, Dexter or something like that. You shouldn't find it funny at times, but you do. It is funny, especially the pets that talk to him, and it's actually Ryan Reynolds that does the voice for both the pets as well, I believe, if I remember rightly. And when he stops taking his medication, things don't go well. When he does take his medication, he lives in this bright, sparkly, lovely world. It really is a strong recommendation, this one, guys. I don't remember this getting any press really at all when it was released. It's probably because the studio didn't know how to promote it. It's one of those quirky odd ones that deserves more of an audience. The next one is one I showcased fairly recently in my, I think it was the most recent collection update that I did. Wind River. Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen. It's like an action thriller. Just a brilliant film. Jeremy Renner plays like a hunter. It's based out in I don't think it's Alaska, but it's somewhere like that. And there's a murder takes place, and Elizabeth Olsen's with the FBI. She has to come out and investigate, but she's no idea of the environment she's in. She's not used to it. She needs Jeremy Renner's help. It's a really good investigation film with great performances, and then the last 25 minutes are just jaw-droppingly good in regards to action and things, and drama and intenseness. Strong recommendation, guys. Wind River. Again, you won't be disappointed. Very good. Next one is one that I've also recently picked up. This is a film called Ideal Home. Steve Coogan, Paul Rudd. I mean, right there, that's a casting that is, going to interest a lot of people. Steve Coogan, Paul Rudd, and it basically, Steve Coogan and Paul Rudd are a gay couple, and that is Steve Coogan's grandson, who turns up out of the blue and invades their life and forces them to kind of be parents, really. And hilarious things ensue. It's just chaos from there. Very funny, but the very heart of it, it's got a great message. It's made brilliantly. I think the directors based it on very much their lives and things like that, or certainly I think the writers, something like that. So very good film. Very funny. It was made, I think in 2018 this made my top 10 favourite films list. Very, very good. Check it out if you get the chance, guys. Ideal home on streaming services. The next one is a Keanu Reeves film. Came out in, was it 2018 or 2019? I'm not sure now. Destination Wedding. Again, I've picked this up fairly recently. This is a German Blu-ray because I couldn't get it in the UK. Winona Ryder, Keanu Reeves, Destination Wedding. They both go to a wedding, as the title would suggest. However, the thing here with this film is, it's both of these guys, Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves, they're both very, very grumpy people, very, very cynical people. So they're basically made for each other, but you know, it takes a while for them to kind of figure that out. So it's a romantic comedy, a little bit like As Good As It Gets. If you know what Jack Nicholson's character is like in that, imagine Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves acting very similar to Jack Nicholson in that film. Very, very funny, very, very charming, and a beautifully made and shot film with a great script. Now then, coming in at number 3 on the list is The Founder, Michael Keaton. Now this came out and I really, really enjoyed this. This basically tells the story of how McDonald's came to be, and how this guy, played by Michael Keaton, basically tricked the creators of McDonald's to basically hand over the business to him. He was a very ruthless businessman, but still managed to play him, Michael Keaton, with a lot of charm. So it's just a really good film, really well made. It doesn't sound interesting, but it is very, very good when you watch it. And again, this was one of those ones that I'm sure made my top 10 list when it came out in 2017, 2018, whenever it was. Definitely check this one out, guys. The Founder, Michael Keaton. One that I don't hear anybody talk about. My top 2, both of these next 2, there are misunderstood movie reviews on these. That's how much of hidden gems I think these are. Number 2 is the incredible Burt Wonderstone, a comedy that stars Steve Carell, Steve Buscemi, Olivia Wilde, Alan Arkin and Jim Carrey. Flopped big time at the cinema, this, and I scratch my head and wonder why this didn't do anything at the cinema, because I think it's a wonderful film. Great cast, very, very funny, where Steve Carell plays a magician who is burnt out beyond belief. Steve Buscemi is his magician partner, and they've got to basically rediscover their love for magic. And Jim Carrey plays a rival magician who's basically, he's like a street magician who's a bit of an arse, but it's just very, very funny. Again, at the heart of it, at the very core of the film, there's got some good heart. I think it's well written, well performed, and one of those that I genuinely don't understand why it didn't do better at the cinema. But check that one out, guys, if you're looking for something really nice and fun to watch. And my number 1, and again, this is one that I did a misunderstood movie review on. It got absolutely slated by the critics when it came out, this. And then I ended up watching it and I loved it. And it is Mordhau. Johnny Depp, Gwyneth Paltrow, Ewan McGregor. It's got just a great cast. Jeff Goldblum, Paul Bettany. And Johnny Depp plays a guy called Lord Mordecai, who's a ridiculous, over-the-top pantomime character, but played, I think, expertly and superbly by Johnny Depp. I think it's one of his best on-screen performances, and he got absolutely slated at the time when it came out, his performance. I think the reason why I like this so much is because it speaks to my British sense of humour. It is almost very British in its approach to comedy. It's almost a situational comedy, this. Really over the top characters, but funny. It's undeniably funny, this film. I just absolutely loved it. If you were put off by the reviews of this, just give it a chance, guys. If you don't like it, if it doesn't speak to your humour, that's the problem with a lot of comedies, is comedy subjective. But I think this is good. I think it's well made, some funny performances. Yeah, there's a couple of cringe moments in it, but it's a comedy. You get over it. Very, very good, and it's a film I can watch over and over again. There are some genuinely hilarious moments in it, and the extras as well. watching Johnny Depp and Gwyneth Paltrow trying to film some of the scenes that they have to do in this, and some of the outtakes that they show you. I mean, hilarious, very, very funny stuff. So yeah, I think definitely worth checking this one out, guys. So that is my top 10 favourite hidden gems that are in my collection. Though if I'd have done it another way and films that weren't in my collection, then my list may well have been different, and there may well be others in my collection where I could do another hidden gems video in the future, because you know there's a lot of them. I do like to give films a second chance and try them, and sometimes they speak to me a little bit more on a second viewing, or sometimes I watch them, I just love them immediately even though everybody else hates them. We're all different, so I'd love to know in the comments what your favourite hidden gems are, and if any of you out there have got your own YouTube channels, consider this a tag, I suppose. I'd love to see your top 10 hidden gem videos. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 list. Stay tuned for more in the coming weeks, and of course I will be back very soon with even more content. Speak to you soon.